Hello and welcome to the 103rd Dev Update. With me today, I have a special guest for the first time in this kind of format that I've been told. We have Bruno from the Jet Alliance. How you doing, Bruno?
Yeah, I'm fine. How are you, QX?
I'm doing all right. I really appreciate you joining. There's you've been very you've been popping out a lot slowly, I guess. I first recognized you from one of the Ergo hacks. You did something, one of the famous HODL stuff, and then you joined in the Dexy Gold channel. You joined in the as well as you have your own channel with Jet Alliance in Discord. So why don't we start with that, Bruno? Why don't we start with your relationship with the Jet Alliance? What is the Jet Alliance for people that probably actually don't know?
Yeah. So JET is a stablecoin protocol, right? And what many people don't know is that, it started as a collaboration between Ergo, IOHK, and Emergo. And one of the results of that collaboration was Sigma USD, right? The first implementation and deployment of the JET stablecoin protocol. Then after Sigma USD, there have been already three other deployments of JET. Like there was JET powered by Coti on Cardano, and there's also Milkomeda JET Osiris on Milkomeda, the EVM sidechain of Cardano. There's also Zephyr, which was implemented natively on a fork of Monero. And now we are working on a new stablecoin protocol, Gluon. And the first implementation and deployment of this new stablecoin protocol is going to be Gluon Gold on Ergo.
All right, so let me back up a second right there. Well, first of all, what's your history with IOG or IOHK back when it was there?
Yeah, so back in 2017, I contributed a little bit to Scorex, actually, before I even joined IOHK, right? And I joined IOHK because I saw a job ad, to do something on Scorex in Scala. But yeah, when I joined IOHK for that role, I think Alexander Cheponoy was leaving IOHK to found Ergo, and then I joined
Were you the cause, Bruno? You joined, he left?
No. I was a bit disappointed, because I had joined for that role, but then that role didn't exist anymore because Alexander was leaving. But I continued contributing to Scorex a little bit, even though I had joined IOHK. Then in IOHK, I eventually became the director of engineering there, so managing the entire engineering department for IOHK. But then eventually I changed my role and I became the technical director for stablecoins, and that's when it became possible for me to get closer to Ergo again.
All right, so one of my questions, just so we can keep this moving, is when we look at stablecoins and we look at the JED, we look at SigUSD that's been built off it. Can you give me or give the listeners or viewers right now what makes something like SigUSD different, and perhaps in your mind or our minds a better stablecoin or a more safe stablecoin than something like USDT or USDC or those kind of protocols? What's a striking factor that you could say in a couple lines that the layman could understand of what that difference is?
Yeah, if you're comparing to fiat-backed stablecoins, the advantage of any decentralized algorithmic stablecoin is that you don't have to rely on any central entity like Circle or Tether, right? But in addition to that, I would say that the JET stablecoin protocol, and in particular the Sigma USD implementation and deployment, have additional advantages if compared to other algorithmic stable coins, right? One of these advantages is that it's crypto-backed, it's not unbacked, and it's not crypto-collateralized. Another advantage is that the protocol has been very carefully designed, right? We have proven mathematical theorems showing that it's stable under certain conditions, right? Because nothing is stable all the time. It's just mathematically impossible, of course. But as stable as it can be, it is. And then these mathematical theorems that we have proven, we have also formally verified them with automated reasoning tools like Isabelle and Lustre. We have used interactive theorem proving and bounded model checking. So there was all this very solid theory behind the protocol. And then with Sigma USD, we have seen that we also got experimental evidence that it's stable, right? Yeah.
And so, right, with the first version of SigUSD SigBank, we had the bear whale, right? That was taking advantage of the Oracle delays, essentially, and draining that. That wasn't necessarily an issue with the protocol itself, correct? That was an external factor in price reporting that caused a bear whale to be able to take advantage of that kind of thing.
Yeah, I would say that the Jet stablecoin protocol does have a bit of sensitivity to Oracle delays, and that's what is related to that bear whale reserve drainage attack. But yeah, we even wrote about that in the Jet paper, right? About the potential issues of the Jet stablecoin protocol. And that's also what motivated us to work on the Gluon stablecoin protocol, right? We expect the Gluon protocol to be less sensitive to Oracle
Don't
delays.
get there yet, Bruno. Don't get there yet. I don't want to hear about Gluon yet. I still got more to ask about this, about SIG. All right. So we had Cafe, a community member, on a couple weeks ago. He's a big proponent of SigUSD and the protocol. He gave a big talk about it. So I don't want to get into the technical details to just rehash what he said. But why can you tell me if there's any differences in the implementations and how they function, or if one's more proficient than the other, or there's a preference of why you started on Ergo between a stablecoin using the JED framework on Cardano versus the SigUSD here, with proof of work and proof of stake, essentially, I guess is my question.
Whether it's proof of work or proof of stake doesn't really matter, in my opinion. Well, I think, yeah, I would say that it's not such a big factor. I think the main reason why Sigma USD got released much sooner than, for example, Jet powered by Coti on Cardano is, well, that the Ergo community is so much faster, and so much more innovative. And also the technology on Ergo, smart contracts were ready on Ergo already when we started developing the protocol together. Cardano simply didn't have smart contracts yet, and even after it had smart contracts, it had many issues still that need to be solved, and still today these issues affect the decentralization of Jet powered by Coti, for example. All right, but I mean, Cardano is getting there, right? Yeah.
Are there any plans to continue to develop and make that protocol better, as opposed to creating something new like Gluon, a completely new concept? Or is the JED protocol kind of frozen in time, and this is what it is, and maybe a few tweaks to it as a future comes along and we notice some issues happening, but otherwise there's this new thing that you're going to be working on soon? What's JED look like for the future as far as that goes?
Yeah, for JED, right? No, I think it's still possible to develop variants of JED, and this is happening. So I have been focused mostly on Gluon, but for example, before I started working on Gluon, I made a few modifications on JED. I created this new version that I call JED Osiris, right? And this is the version that has been used on Milkomeda, on the Milkomeda deployment of JED. Then the people who did Zephyr, they also created their own slight variation of JED. And it's an interesting variation. So they dealt with this issue of sensitivity to the Oracle by having two oracles, one that provides the average price and the other one that provides the latest price.
So does it take an average of those, or does it look at one before it uses the other to judge against?
Yeah, for each operation, it takes the the best of those two.
The one that's moved the least?
Protecting the... Sorry, what?
The one that's moved the least? How do you define best? Which one is the best?
The one that it would be best for the reserve of the contract.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Interesting. So two oracles, two different oracles. So are these oracles, where are these oracles running? Are these like community run oracles similar like in Ergo? Where we have Dexy Gold and the glue and the what's it called? The Gort tokens as rewards where community members are running oracles kind of thing? Or are these more centralized oracles that we're talking about?
So in Jet powered by Kote, it's a centralized oracle run by Kote, and that's a problem, of course. In Milkomeda Jet Osiris, the oracle prices are provided by the same nodes that run the Milkomeda sidechain, the Milkomeda EVM sidechain. So it's the same level of security. Like if you already trust in the validator nodes of Milkomeda, right? Then you don't lose anything by trusting that they also provide in the price data as well. And for Zephyr, I actually don't know details about their oracle. Yeah, but yeah, I would say that, well, I don't know with respect to Zephyr, but if you compare with Jet powered by Kote and with Milkomeda Jet Osiris, I think that on Ergo, the oracles are much more decentralized, right? And now with the version 2 of the oracle and the Goat oracle, it's even more decentralized. And yeah, we're happy that yeah, Gluon Goat will be able to use that oracle.
All right, that's the fifth time you've said Gluon, Bruno. Why don't you jump into it? What the hell is Gluon?
Yeah, so Gluon is this new stablecoin protocol. It's different from JED, quite different from JED. It's called Gluon because it's inspired by nuclear physics. So gluon is the particle responsible for stability of matter in the universe. So that's where we got our inspiration. And another reason for this inspiration is that the operations in gluon are similar to fission and fusion in nuclear reactions and also beta decays. Yeah.
Well, so why don't you start?
For those who want to know more details about this, I would recommend watching my video for the latest Ergo, not the latest Ergo Summit, but that one for the Ergo anniversary, for the 4th
Ergoversary, yeah.
Anniversary. Yep. Yeah, Ergoversary. So I made a video for that one. I think in that summit, the HODL coin kind of eclipsed Gluon, right? But Gluon just for that summit, one about HODL coin and the other one about
Bruno,
Gluon.
I gotta tell you a story about that. So Pulsar sent me this video about the back end of HODL coin, and your video is kind of about the concept of HODL coin, the math that you did. And Pulsar is like, whatever you do, QX, do not publish the web link for the site that I'm showing in the video. Can you please blur it out? So I did. I blurred it out. But sure enough, Bruno, you had the link right there in your video. And Pulsar DMs me and he's like, I thought you blurred that out. What the hell? How come there's $20,000 in my HODL site already? So it's all your fault, Bruno. All your fault. All right, so let's start out easy. I think a lot of people have some idea of how SigUSD works with SIG RSV, with the reserve, with the thresholds of the 400%, those kind of things. It might be easier to start off on how Gluon is different from SigUSD for listeners, perhaps, if you think so.
Yeah. By the way, you mentioned these reserve thresholds, right, of 400% and 800%. One of the things that I never really liked so much about JED, about minimal JED, right, the minimal JED version, were these hard thresholds, right, because they create discontinuities in the equations of the protocol. And even if you look at the JED paper, there's the extended JED protocol there that already removes those thresholds, right? And instead of talking about the minimal reserve ratio and the maximal reserve ratio, it talks about an optimal reserve ratio. which I think would already be an improvement. But
and that's a dynamic target, the optimal one?
Yeah, so it's not dynamic. In the extended JET protocol, it would have this optimal reserve ratio would also be a fixed parameter. But yeah, you could think that in Gluon, you could imagine that Gluon is a bit like the extended JET protocol, but where this optimal reserve ratio is dynamic, and it's dynamically adjusted based on what has been happening in the last well, we haven't chosen the parameters yet, but probably we're going to choose the last 2 weeks. So yeah.
So similar. The reserve coin in Gluon is the Gluon. So SIG RSV would be the Gluon, or is there a token name for that specifically?
Yeah, in Gluon Gold, we have discussed this in Discord already, the names of the tokens. In Gluon Gold, the stablecoin will be called GAU, so GAU, G for Gluon, and AU for the atomic symbol for gold, right, in the periodic table. And the equivalent of the reserve coin will probably be called GAU-C, where C stands for charge, because it's the charged particle. It's the one that is more volatile. But in the description of the protocol, of the abstract protocol, that has nothing, it's not necessarily related to gold, right? So in the Gluon paper and in my presentation for the Ergo anniversary, the stable coin is called neutron because it's analogous to the neutron in an atomic nucleus. And the reserve coin is called proton because it's analogous to a proton. Yeah.
All right. So how does this differ from Dexy Gold with that?
Yeah, Dexy Gold, right? I had many discussions with Alexander Chepurnoy about Dexy Gold a while ago, but recently I haven't followed the discussions so much, so I don't know if what I know of Dexy Gold is still how it actually is right now, you know. But yeah, we also had an AMA about this, right, in Telegram a while ago, where we discussed differences between Gluon and Dexy Gold. And yeah, I would say that, and what I would say is what I already said in that AMA, that yeah, we did JED, right? We did Sigma USD, and we learned many things, and we noticed that certain things could be improved. And I think that with Dexy and Gluon, we are improving in different directions. And we are going to learn things, and possibly in the future we'll be able to take the lessons learned and build something even better, right? And it's also possible, I think, to simulate one by the other. Like,
does Dexy rely a lot
example,
on?
Yeah, like okay, go on. Ask your question.
Does Dexy rely on a lot of arbitrage opportunities on isn't arbitrage kind of built into Dexy and how it works with buybacks and things like that? Or is that just a side effect that can be done to any stablecoin there? For some reason that was in my head that Dexy Gold relied on some sort of programmatic price stability based on the DEX.
Yeah. So yeah, about DEX being based on a DEX, right? One interesting to note is that, for example, when we did Sigma USD, when we did JED, there was no there was no DEX on Ergo yet, right? There was no liquidity pool. So in a way, when you see the design of JED, JED is a kind of it has its own built-in liquidity pool, its own built-in DEX. But like now that on Ergo we already have liquidity pools, we already have DEXs, it's indeed interesting to explore a design where we use an existing DEX as a building block, right? It's more modular than what JED and Sigma USD were. Yeah. what else can I say about DEXs? Yeah, and in part, if you take the sensitivity to the Oracle price, right, in JED, that's precisely because the built-in DEX that exists inside JED, inside Sigma USD, doesn't really try to do anything about large transactions, right? Like if you take a DEX with a constant product formula, for example, it's kind of built in there that the larger your transaction, the more fees you pay, right? The bigger the slippage you have.
Yeah, because of lower liquidity in the pool. Yeah.
But with JED and Sigma USD, the fee is always fixed, right? It's always 1% or 2%. And that's why it's a bit sensitive to Oracle delays, right? Because then when the Oracle difference because of an Oracle delay is bigger than 1%, 2%, then it becomes possible to make large transactions that drain the reserve. But if you have a scheme similar to a DEX where the larger the transaction is, the more you pay, the larger the fee, then you're protected against these, right? And this protection exists already in the extended JET protocol, which has never been implemented, right? And I think it should exist on DEXI. It certainly exists on DEXI as well. And it exists on Gluon as well. But on Gluon, it's a bit different because, if you watch that recording for the Ergo anniversary, you will see that another inspiration that we had for Gluon is to think of a stablecoin as a reverse DEX. If you think about DEX, if you think about a DEX, a liquidity pool, you put two assets, and then you get an LP token for that liquidity pool, right? Yep. And you can think of a stablecoin as going in the opposite direction. You put ERGs, and then you get two assets. You get the stable coin and the reserve coin, or you get the neutron and the proton.
Wait, so you're saying unlike Sigma USD, where you put in ERG and you either get SIG USD or you either get SIG RSV, are you saying that when you put in ERG, you get both at the same time with Gluon?
In Gluon, yes, and then you can swap. Let's say the stable coin for the reserve coin, or vice versa, using a beta decay transaction.
So there's no way to just get Gluon unless there's a liquidity pool on the DEX. Then you can get Gluon by itself. So when you interact with whatever protocol you're giving the front end to a user, they put in ERG, they get Gluon and or what was the other one? GluC.
Yeah, in the front end, in the UI, you can compose these operations, right? And you can make this appear to the user that the user is putting ERG and getting only Gluon. But behind the scenes, what happens is that the user puts ERG, gets stable coins and reserve coins, and then automatically swaps the reserve coin.
And that's not what's happening with SIG USD right now, or is that how it works with SIG USD as well?
No. Yeah, so and that's one way to see that Gluon is significantly different from from Sigma USD and JET, because with DEXI, with Sigma USD, JET in general, the liquidity pool is between SIG USD and ERG, right? But with Gluon, it's kind of a dual liquidity pool between the stable coin and the reserve coin, and ERG becomes the kind of LP token. And I think with Gluon, it's also interesting conceptually because you may really think of Gluon as fissioning one ERG into the protons and neutrons that form ERG. So it's less about issuing a stable coin, but more about breaking an existing token into its sub-tokens. Yeah.
That's really damn cool.
I think this can also have good implications from a regulatory perspective, for stable coins, because with Gluon, we're not really issuing a new token. We're just splitting an existing token into subtokens.
And so let's say the price of ERG goes up by, let's say that price of ERG goes up to $2 tomorrow, and I had split 100 ERGs at $1 into the two parts. What's that look for me returning back on the outside? If I want to fuse those two together again to get ERGs, am I going to be coming out with less ERGs or more ERGs or the same?
A little bit less, because you're paying fission fees and fusion fees. You're paying like about 1% fee to fission or fusion, to split the ERG and then to join the two tokens back into ERG.
But the reserve part protects me a little bit more.
Sorry, what?
The reserve part protects me a little bit more from the price of ERG going up. Is that the point? Is that also a benefactor of having the two pairs there? Let's say I take SigUSD.
If you just split ERG and just keep the split tokens as they are, then your exposure to price fluctuations will remain the same as it was with ERGs. But
really?
if you believe that
stable on one side,
if you believe that the price of ERG will go up and you want to be more exposed to that, you can convert the stable coin into reserve coin. And then when you swap back, you have more ERGs than you had before.
Okay, so what I'm hearing,
and if you want to protect against the price of ERG going down, you could after you get an ERG, you swap reserve coins for stable coins. You swap protons to neutrons.
So what I'm hearing, Bruno, is that if I want a safer position, if I want to flavor my stable coin holdings with a little bit of risk, I can split my ERGs into the two pairs and hold both of those. And then I won't be exposed to the risk of ERG going up and only being stuck on the stable coin. And I won't be exposed to the risk of ERG going down if I'm only stuck on the reserve coin. Since I'm holding both from that split, I won't see the full gains if I held ERG or all reserve, and I won't see the full losses if I held all stable coin, but I'll see some gains if ERG goes up, and I'll see some losses if ERG goes down, essentially.
Yeah, more or less.
Am I reading that correctly?
By keeping those two tokens, or even just the reserve coin token, like in Sigma USD, you may benefit from fees that other users are paying, right, when they are splitting ERG or joining the two tokens back into ERG. Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. I think I gotcha. Very cool. Yeah. Very cool. All right, let's see. We've been going for about 20 minutes here, Bruno. Anything else you want to say about Gluon before we jump on to seeing what the devs have this week?
No, I think it's enough about Gluon.
What's on your plate after Gluon?
About Gluon, just to let people know that we currently have a design-a-thon, like a contest to design a logo for Gluon Gold. So if there are any designers watching this video now, have a look on our tweets and join our Discord, and the rules on how to participate in this contest are there. The implementation of Gluon Gold, right? The contracts and the back end are ready. They were done by Key. Luca audited the contracts and did some refactoring in the contracts as well, and he's currently writing some tests. And Sanjit already implemented the UI, but the UI currently has only 3 of the 4 operations, so he needs to implement the 4th operation. And once this is done, I think soon we'll be able to have it available in the test net for people to try. For the main net, we still need to implement some treasury management contracts, like multi-sig contracts and so on. So we still need a little bit more time. I think that's all.
Where do you point them to? You want them to come to the JED Discord, or is there another Discord or Telegram channel you'd want them pointed to?
Yeah, the JED Alliance Discord, and there you can find a channel for Gluon Gold, and that channel is linked to the Ergo to the Gluon Gold to the Sigma Gold channel in the Ergo Discord server as well.
Of course, why wouldn't it be? Mark was probably on that in 10 minutes.
Yeah, it's called Sigma Gold there in the Ergo channel because it hasn't been renamed yet, but we renamed to Gluon Gold already. And so people who are already in the Discord server of Ergo can just follow the discussions there in that channel. But we would still appreciate if they could join the Discord server of the JED Alliance as well. And then about the JED Alliance, right? I told you the early history about JED, but then we ended up having all these different deployments of JED, right? And I founded the JED Alliance precisely as the union of all these deployments of JED. So people are welcome to join the JED Alliance as well. Yeah.
Awesome.
And follow us in Twitter and like our tweets and retweet and so on. Yeah. And for those who have ADA, this is very important. For those who have ADA and who vote in Catalyst, the JED Alliance has 2 proposals in Catalyst, so it would be really helpful if people could vote for those 2 proposals. Yeah.
All right, perfect. So we've got a logo competition, and we've got some for ADA holders to vote in Catalyst for your 2 proposals. Yeah. Fantastic. All right, let's dive right into the dev update here. I'll start off with PGR456, the first one, announcing Sigma Space Beta. What is Sigma Space? It is a block explorer and analytics platform for Ergo inspired by the results of Ergo Hack 6, Improved Ergo Explorer UX UI by Spectrum Labs, completely built from the ground up using Go and Svelte. And there's an actual link for it right here too, so you can check it out. If you find any bugs or incorrect data, please let him know. He's got a little roadmap here showing what he's working on. But super cool. So other developments apart from Sigma Space made some improvements on Oracle Core by adding automatic unlock of Node Wallet. Oh, thank God. That's fantastic. There's nothing worse than rebooting your Oracle and letting it go for a couple days and realizing you forgot to unlock the wallet. So that's great. Friendly reminder for outstanding review to Soysar. Awesome. Do you run any oracles, Bruno?
No. I'm generally not very good at running infrastructure, Gotcha. I tried to mine Bitcoin back in 2011 and I didn't manage to mine any. And then
how do you sleep at night, Bruno? you were this close.
Yeah, if I had succeeded,
maybe you could have like 10,000 Bitcoins. Oh.
Yeah. But
we gotta stop this interview right now. I can't live with that, Bruno. That's too cringy for me. That's rough. That hurts. That hurts. Oh boy. Yeah. Oh, okay. Let's move on. We'll all forget that Bruno almost was a Bitcoin millionaire in 2011. All right, Tika, why don't you take Glasgow?
Okay, so let me read you the update by Glasgow. So the Ledger app is back with Tesseract now, and they will be starting work on Monday. Should only take a week or 2, and then back to Ledger for final approval to get us out of developer mode. The amount of work for the requested changes is 1 week. For one of the change requests, we have found a more optimal solution we would like to propose. For another change request, we will also need to make sure the client library is working accordingly. If not, the changes should be applied by your team to the client library. It's not security critical, but may affect the UI workflow and thus acceptance to the store. We will guide your team to properly reflect the changes in the library, of course. In addition to the changes request, the estimate includes the mandatory updating of the project to the newest Ledger SDK version and reflecting the changes in the automated tests. Yeah.
Awesome. That's a much needed thing. We got a lot of people in here that are, they won't use Ledger just because it's in beta mode, essentially, developer mode. They don't want to hit that developer button on their thing. So I don't blame them. It is what it is, but this will be really nice. So your Bitcoin story made me think of my own trauma, Bruno. I remember it may have been back in 2012, 2013, maybe it's 2012, 13. I wanted to get some ETH, and I think it was under $10, maybe $5, $6. At a couple $100 I just wanted to put on it to try out it. And I went into Coinbase to try to register, and Coinbase at that time would not let me buy since I live in New York. So here I am, same situation. I could have had like a couple hundred ETH that I probably would have sold at $50. So, whatever. But I'm sure a lot of people have those trauma stories where they could have.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's see. We've got Louis Vatra with.
And by the way, regarding me not being good at running infrastructure, right? I don't run any Goat Oracle, for example, and yeah, there's not a Goat cooperative, right? Of many people running the Goat Oracles and earning GOT, the Goat Oracle reward token, and yeah, I just want to thank them all, because this logo contest of the Gluon Gold is going to have some rewards, and most of the rewards are coming from donations from the Goat cooperative, from the people who are running these Goat oracles. So yeah, the generosity has been incredible. So there's a really good prize pool for this logo contest, and it's thanks
like
to the
$1,000, is it? $1,000 about, right?
Yeah, I think around $1,000 worth of GOT.
That's amazing. Absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think a lot of the Gort users right now, at least myself included, feel a little guilty about spending any of the Gorts, Bruno, just because, we were in the tests and, helping with that and helping in the early stages of everything. But it still feels hard to feel like we've earned it at this point. You know what I mean? So spending against that kind of liquidity in the Spectrum DEX from the buyback contracts, it makes me feel really guilty. So I think it's awesome that we can donate these kind of things to the logo competitions where we're getting proof of work again. They're proof of working these logos and getting rewards for it. I think it's amazing. So awesome.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see what it's going to look like when Dexy's up and the buyback contracts are in full swing, to see what happens to these Gorts. I think we have a few Gort whales hanging around in the ecosystem, so we'll see.
Yeah.
All right, we've got Louis Vatra with Padilla Beta. When Padilla fixed bug in staking contract causing staking one token to fail. We've been using it in the Sigmanauts for a week now, or a week and a half. It's been working great. We're bugging the piss out of Louis with any bugs we find or UIs. I'm sure he hates our guts by this point. Crux Harmony made a first version to load balance index nodes, ergo nodes based on not just latency, but also index height. Testing it with a Tipperbot to ensure stability. When confirmed, we'll start putting out other services that are used to index node on it, such as Rosengarten, Watcher, etc. Oh, cool. Servers can be easily added into the config YAML. Documentation started experimenting with Typist in combination with GraphViz to be able to have version control documentation with visual transaction representation. Example here is for Cardano. Oh, gonna stop reading right now. Next. Just kidding. Example here is for Cardano, but we'll easy to change to Ergo, and we'll probably use this to make documentation for Padilla contracts. Cool. Documentation is we need a lot of documentation in Ergo. There's a lot of stuff. When you're a solo dev and you're burning the midnight candle and you get your project done, sometimes the last thing you think about is telling other people how to use the back end of your product when you're only showing the front end of it to the main users. So I understand that. That's important. All right, why don't you take the man himself, Kushti?
Okay, yeah, an update by Kushti about the Ergo protocol and the reference client research and development. So there were 2 more PRs merged into version 5.0.20 release candidate. And then there are links to the GitHub repositories, to the pull requests of these PRs. Then he added tests to another PR and is polishing those tests now. He checked the tests in another PR, made another pass around Sigma 6.0 issues, moved some to 5.x or 6.x, attached bounties, etc. And he thinks that after another pass or two, PRs set can be finalized along with ETA, estimated time of arrival estimations. Yeah. Then he also worked on a sidechain prototype, made a sketch of sidechain block header structure and its verification. Then on Oracle Pools 2.0, he finished off-chain part for GORT dev emission contracts and is going to test them. On DEXI, that's an update by code for USS, for us, I don't know. So he fixed the deposit sign-in issue, and he fixed the DEXI service box prediction. And he's going to test a Spectrum backend for public test now. And he also, Kushti also reviewed and merged a PR related to ErgoScript by example.
Why don't you keep on going to the next one, Bruno? I think it's appropriate.
Okay. Yeah, that's Kushti making an update about Gluon that I shared with him. Yeah, I think I have already given you an update about Gluon, right? But there was one thing that I mentioned to Kushti that I forgot to mention in our conversation here, which is that we have already bought the domain for Gluon Gold, and it is gluon.gold, fortunately.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Awesome. Yeah. All right. Let's we got Captain Nemo here, Nautilus team update, ErgSnap MetaMask integration, added unconfirmed transactions to transaction history, major cold refactoring, hardened Schnorr signature implementation, and the first beta is out. Oh, damn, I missed that. I'm gonna have to test that out. Got to fire up MetaMask in an isolated sandboxed VM just in case. Some notes about the first beta. It's still an unaudited and beta software, so use it with caution and with small amounts. Until it's whitelisted by consensus, it's only compatible with MetaMask Flask, the development distribution of MetaMask. We would love to hear your feedback. And from what I understand, this is a requirement. It has to be audited by this team to be able to make it into MetaMask. So there is that wait probably, depending on how long that's going to be. But this is going to be fun. This is great. The more Erg can be in other wallets across the crypto space, the better. All right, you got the Rosen. It's a big one, Bruno.
Okay, yeah, update about the Rosen bridge. So they have been working more on running a simulated network for testing hole punching. Fixed an issue with wallet index when having multiple wallets. Fixed app crash when a token fetched from database is not found. Set a maximum page size of 100 for Events API. Added a tests directory only if testing feature is enabled. Remove redundant coverage reporters from VI test config. Add prescript to change set step of CI. Fix wrong main script in repo init. Initialization, switch to node loaders instead of experimental flag, fix issue in add service, switch to Rosen Bridge Winston logger for login purposes, remove condition for extensionless in package JSON of services, add new general purpose configs to base TS config of monorepo init, add missing prepare npm script to repo init command. Wow, it continues.
I can swap out. Let's swap out. I'll do half of this. Okay. I'll bear half the burden, Bruno. So Rosen Bridge continued.
Especially because this one is mostly like command line commands.
Yes. I'll buzz over those. Let's see. Rosen Bridge scanner. They updated the commit extractor and event trigger extractor according to new versions. The first EVM scanner implementation is started. Hot damn. Looking forward to bridging to ETH, even though I don't know. When people cross over from ETH, should we get like metaphorical, those like plastic doctor boots that people put on their feet when they're dirty, so maybe we can make all the F people crossing over into Ergo put those on. My subtle diss to not so subtle diss to Ethereum. All right, Rosen chains. They removed the leading 0xED check on Cardano chain. The guard service, they updated some packages to include the TSS API in the next release, and they made the admission token configurable. To Rosenbridge TXPOT, the package provides a comprehensive solution for storing and processing transactions. Looks like it offers a capability to store transactions from any chain and facilitates automated processing such as validation. Damn, awesome. Submission handling of invalid transactions. That's really cool. The package is developed, and is currently under review and test. That's awesome. So that means it looks like they're using a single database to be able to store multiple chain transactions so they can be read and checked and verified. Very neat. We wrapped our research on Bitcoin. We are currently designing required packages and changes for each services. EVM chain, the required packages are designed and implementation is ongoing. The progress will be reported in corresponding services. That's great. Looks like they've been hard at work for the last week. Fantastic. All right, we've got LGD for you, Bruno.
Okay. So on GwabSwap, they are setting up GwabSwap service backend with Scala Play, breaking up GwabSwap into component services, UI, backend, DB to create Dockerized application. And this week they will keep working on the back end for the next few weeks as a mini side project for himself. He has been setting up a Dockerized Ergo node setup similar to MGPy Quick Node and Ergo Easy Oracle as a way to familiarize himself with Docker. He was also having trouble updating the node to new versions, which would cause it to stop running properly on the Raspberry Pi as a background service. So hopefully this will fix this.
Yeah, for those that don't know, MGPy set up a quick node. Essentially, it's a zipped 17 or 18 gig file that when you spin it up, I think he's got it Dockerized. Yeah, it pulls that down, unzips it, uses it, updates itself from wherever that height was, and goes. I used it for when my Oracle node, Dexy Gold Oracle Core node toasted itself. It was corrupt, so I needed it back real fast. So I think it took me like 20 minutes, 30 minutes for this entire thing. The longest part was unzipping that 17 gig database file, which was massive. That took the longest. It was faster to download it than it was to unzip it for some reason. Super cool. Sorry, go for it. 4eyes, same thing. LGD and 4eyes.
Yeah, LGD and 4eyes. He's working on contracts for Cyberverse Banker game and working on contract for Psy Workshop project.
Yeah, 4eyes, for those that don't know, is LGD's and MGPy's consulting firm. They have a Discord if anybody wants to look up. They also have a Twitter account. Sorry, I keep it, Bruno. Sorry.
Now on Ergo names, he's working on design of config box and working on improving all Ergo names contracts. Now on Blitz, he's testing contracts for card burning mechanism. And on Lilium, he's learning about API design and architecture since he's planning on making Lilium API for easy integration into other applications. And on Phoenix, he's looking into improvements for HODL token contracts with me, with Bruno.
Bruno's like, he's never talked to me. I haven't even talked to this guy.
To deal with integer division issues for price calculation. Yeah, and I can confirm that this is true. We have been discussing.
That'd be funny if it wasn't. Bruno's like, wait, who's this guy?
Yeah. Cool. So this concludes the update by LGD.
All right, looks like Angie's thrown a marketing update, which is really, really cool to see. She's refreshed a refresh to the Ergo platform website, focusing on mobile accessibility and improved navigation. First pages are implemented, hope to be live in the next few months. That's awesome. They have a developer working on that integration into a popular wallet. Morphic helped us complete this with Sigma Rust, which lets us implement it without needing any additional audits. Logic is now being reworked to use this library. I wonder what they're talking about. Which wallet? Interesting. Trust wallet, maybe? Um, if that's the other one that I thought they were working on. Some small changes that will help us build our liquidity and access, as well as on-ramp services that help us reach those parts of the world we're missing. Held Ergo Summit for internal community. Everybody's familiar with that. We just had it. About 4K views on those videos, which is fantastic. Working on event planning for ErgoHack Ergoversary, educational content for the blog, and she's listed about 4 articles that they've released. 6 drafts are released. This is fantastic. This is awesome. I'm glad to see the some marketing updates in here as well. All right. This is me. You want me to hit this, Bruno? I'll hit this. I'll save you. So we threw the Sigma.Not update in here. This update is brought to you by ChatGPT, essentially feeding it our conversation and then telling it to do this. And then Glasgow edited a little bit, and then I edited a little more on the fly. So we discussed voting and tokens. We're distributing the Sigma.Not token essentially to new SIGs as they come out right through Padilla, which is pretty cool. We talked about treasury management, expanding the treasury, and when we are going to feel comfortable out bringing it over to Padilla so we could utilize it there. We got to do quite a bit more testing on Padilla till we feel comfortable that we're not going to lose all our treasury if we transfer it to Padilla. Let's see. We spoke about, what does ChatGPT think we spoke about? Oh yeah, I spoke a little bit about the Ergo Foundation restructuring. And including some community engagement. That may mean like a Sigma.Not on the board of the EF or a community member on the board of EF, a voted position, which I think is really, really cool. Great idea. Market strategy engagement with market makers. I had a long talk about that in the AMA. I'm not going to rehash that. Please watch the AMA if you want to know more about that. We have some things going around about mobile app development. One of the thoughts was really make, mobile wallets are used by a ton of people that don't have desktops. That's like a lot of the world, as people living in countries that are privileged to having desktops and laptops wouldn't sometimes don't recognize. So having a very robust and interactive wallet we felt was important. Not just that, but also prettified essentially, maybe with some flashier AI, UI. So the idea was to try to see if we could, what it would take to get certain things like Sigmafy, like HODL token, HODL coin, like the DEX integrated inside Terminus wallets so that you don't have to use a browser and you don't have to use Ergo Pay there. They're just in there, just like the Token J app is inside Terminus, where you can cash out the SigUSD bank right from inside it. Super easy to use, that kind of thing. So that's really what we're looking at there to see if we can get if we can use Sigma.Not funds to pay developers to be able to integrate that. And that's a beautiful thing too. Somebody beautiful thing about Airbo, Bruno, is somebody in the SIG said something like, Spectrum might not have any interest in integrating into Terminus, via the Mosaic framework. And the answer to that is, who gives a shit? It doesn't matter what Spectrum thinks. We could hire a dev to do it themselves and integrate the smart contracts into it. It doesn't require the project owner on Ergo to even be okay with it. Since everything's there in smart contracts, it's open source. If a dev feels like they want to do it, or we can hire a dev to integrate it into a wallet using Mosaic, then by damn it, we're going to do it, kind of thing. So super neat. And I just picked Spectrum as an example. They are super nice at Spectrum. We love Gaza. We love Yasha. We love all those guys. Just use you as an example. Let's not get our panties in a bunch. Okay, what else? Canon is working, notified us about proposals for duck pool loan duration limits. Right now, they're very, very long. I think like years. So they're trying to shorten that, I think, to 6 months so that people lending tokens don't wait years to get their realize their gains. We made some decisions about adding bPadilla tokens to the Padilla treasury so that when we promote a Sigma.Not, they not only get their token, but they get a bPadilla so they can actually interact and stake. Let's see. We already talked about restructuring, talked about the app development, and there is a meeting, Spaces meeting on the 8th, I think at 11 a.m. Eastern time, which is 4 p.m. UTC. Please come to that. It's like Flux, KDA, Ergo, trying to get other people like Lithium and all those kind of tokens projects to chat with us. So that'll be a lot of fun, I think. That's it for the SIGs update. We got Aberg, who's a Citergo full desktop Ergo wallet dev. For you, Bruno.
Okay. So yeah, they have been working on light node support, chained transactions, sending tokens without specifying ERC, copying the transaction ID history, total tokens in a transaction history, support for sending to stealth addresses, and improved design.
Okay, we have next is Atomic Swap. Awesome. I'm glad to see these updates every week. Atomic Swap was a winner of the last Ergo hack. EVM gas config controls. I feel so bad for anybody that has to try to work with that. Active swap status and automatic claim configuration tracking and local storage. Active swap UI widget is functional at a basic level. Fix swap model loading bugs. Next, they'll be moving on to account configuration and communication round key setup at UX level. And then let's see, Blitz has a quick one in here that they're ramping up for the MVP launch in March. So everybody please stay tuned. Why don't you take Ergcube?
Yeah. So yeah, they have been working on Telegram subscription-based price bot. The user can check all native token prices by timeframes, convert native token to Ergo, dollar, and any currency. Projects can set up custom backgrounds. We'll keep the price bot for free for now. And they learned some awesome stuff. So soon, Bet Ninja is coming. Then bet on native token prices, changes on set time frame, lottery, dice roll, and few other mini games.
That's pretty cool. Yeah, HQ's been moving from his kind of website hosting Ergcube informational site to these kind of Swiss Army knives of bots. So you can, like, if you were in chat, Bruno, I could say, hey, I'm going to challenge Bruno that Erg is going to go up 50 cents within the next 24 hours. And you could accept that bet, and then you're beholden to me. I don't think at this point he accepts payments. I think it's more of a gentleman's agreement that you're actually going to pay up, but it tracks all that and notifies you if you've lost or won or that kind of thing. It's super, super cool. Let's see. I think that's it. Yeah. Oh, no, we have Chris down here. He's got a little late ad here. They help listing Comet on CoinGecko and help listing Ergo on CoinMarketLeague. Chris has been detrimental in being relentless at poking these sites to get tokens and Comet and Greasy Sex and all those kind of things listed on those sites. So bravo for that. All right, Bruno, that concludes the dev update of all the updates, I think, of this week, and then a little bit later in the week. Where do I guess we already asked where to find you. So I guess the only thing I can ask you is anything you want to close with, any words of wisdom or nuggets of specialness you want to leave on the Ergo viewers for this week.
Yeah, I don't know. Just want to thank for the very nice conversation and for having me here. And yeah, let's keep building on Ergo.
It was a pleasure, Bruno. And I can guarantee you somebody at some point on Twitter, Bruno, somebody's going to make a quote where you specifically said, we started building on Ergo first because it is so fast to build there. Or whatever you said. You had a quote like that earlier on. So don't be surprised if your face in that quote becomes a little badge that people start posting on Twitter. Former engineering director at IOHK, quote, Bruno.
Yeah, I mean, it was incredible. Like less than 3 months to build an algorithmic stable coin on a UTXO blockchain. It's something that had never been done, right? An algorithmic stable coin on a UTXO blockchain. And the Ergo devs did it in less than 3 months.
So amazing. Yeah, it is. They are amazing. Fantastic. All right. Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Bruno. Everybody enjoy the rest of their Sunday when this comes out, and we'll see you around. Ciao.
Yeah. Bye. Ciao.